Krishna Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna. So how many of you are here for the first time for our Lord Nityananda festival? Few of you? And how many of you are very, very familiar with who is Lord Nityananda? Few of you? Guruji in the back for sure. Hare Krishna, nice to see you, Guruji. Anybody not familiar with Lord Nityananda? Bunch of you? Okay, good. Well, congratulations. You have chose to come to this eternal home of Shri Radha Kunja Bihari that Srila Prabhupada gave to us as an eternal blessing to come and to experience the glories of Lord Nityananda Rama. So Lord Nityananda is on our altar here, and he is the furthest left deity standing with arms raised. That is Lord Nityananda. So tomorrow is his divine appearance day. And if we come to understand the glories of Lord Nityananda, we will be left with only one conclusion: that tomorrow is actually the most auspicious day in the year. Now, that can seem like a little bit of a superfluous statement. What about Shri Krishna Janmashtami? We have Ram Navami, Nashima Chaturdashi, we have Govardhan Puja, we have Gaur Purnima, right? Many, many auspicious days are in the calendar. I am often accused of saying they're all the most auspicious, which in fact is true, because they're in the spiritual realm, everything is perfect. Everything is absolute. So in one way, there's no good, better, best. On the other way, there is still some hierarchy. But what we're going to hear today and discuss today is that it is only by the mercy of Lord Nityananda can we actually relish these other festivals, actually absorb and extract the great blessings that these other festivals hold. So, just like if you have, a giant palace and you want to go see the palace, there'll be many gates to get through to get to the palace. But if you don't cross the first gate, there's no hope to get any further. So in some ways, that first door is the most important. Right? So similarly, what we're going to hear today and discuss is that Lord Nityananda holds the key to all the doors for all these holy festivals. And most importantly, they hold the keys to the heart of our beloved Radha Kunja. Sri Nityananda Thakur tells us that without the mercy of Lord Nityananda, there is no hope to obtain the mercy of Radha Krishna.
So is the most auspicious day, is that like the year or like in a long time?
In the year, because all these auspicious holidays cycle once per year. In the year, yes. So, Nityananda Thakur tells us, Heno Nita Vine Bhai, Radhe Krishna, without the mercy of Lord Nityananda, there is no hope to obtain the mercy of Radha Krishna. So we may race to go see Radha Krishna, but we should understand only by the mercy of Lord Nityananda can we obtain their mercy. And that is scripturally evidenced for us throughout our Shastra. So we'll read one verse to establish who is Lord Nityananda. I've been speaking a lot about him, but who is he? So in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, this is one of our great Shastras. Unfortunately, I don't have the first volume, so I'm using my phone, which I don't like to do, but I'm left with it. So we'll read from Adi Lila, chapter 5, verse number 5, and we'll read a little bit about who is Lord Nityananda. Ekeya Swarupadone Bina Matakaya Adyakaya Vyuha Krishna Lila Sahaya. The translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki is as follows. These two are the one and same identity. They differ only in form. Lord Balaram is the first bodily expansion of Krishna. He assists in Lord Krishna's transcendental pastimes. Purport. Balaram is the Shramsha expansion of the Lord, and therefore there is no difference in potency between Krishna and Balaram. The only difference is in their bodily structure. As the first expansion of Godhead, Balaram is the chief deity among the first quadruple forms. He is the foremost assistant of Sri Krishna in his transcendental activities. So now I have to read the 6th verse to give context to the 5th verse, in which he says, that original Lord Krishna appeared in Navadvip as Lord Chaitanya, and Balaram appeared with him as Lord Nityananda. So now we get some reference points. Who is Lord Nityananda? Lord Balaram. Right? So we see Lord Balaram is situated on our rightmost altar on the left side in white form. This is Lord Balaram. So let us establish first now who is Lord Balaram. So I think I have some slides here. There are some bullets. So Lord Balaram is the first expansion of Lord Krishna. Lord Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This, in and of itself, is a source of so much confusion, but it need not be. Our Shastras enjoin. Lord Brahma tells us, Ishvara Parama Krishna. That this Supreme Controller is Krishna. He is Sachit Ananda Vigraha. He has a form. It is not impersonal. But he has a beautiful form, standing like this, blackish in color, three-banga, three-folding form, beautiful eyes, curly hair. All description is given in our Shastra. And he is Anadi Adi, Govinda. Everyone knows who Govinda is. Everybody knows who Govinda is. It's Krishna. But what they don't know is that this Govinda is the Anadiraya. He is the source of everything. What is the source of everything? It means the source of everything. All incarnations. Starting from Lord Vishnu, from Mahavishnu, Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, Shirodakshaya Vishnu, Lord Shiva, Brahmaji, Lord Indra, all the devatas, down to the living entities. They are all originating from one. And that is an Adir Govinda. And to give us a little bit further emphasis, Lord Brahma continues, Sarva Karana Karana. Means he is the cause of all causes. So there is nothing that causes him. What does that mean? Krishna is eternal. He is there. There is no creator of him. He is there, eternal. We'll come to questions in a moment. Yeah, just if you can note them down. So, he is the cause of all causes. So everything originates from Krishna, the Supreme Personality of God. So this fact we have to get cleared first. And this is explained throughout our Shastra in many different places. And his first expansion is Lord Balaram. So his very first expansion is Lord Balaram. And actually through Lord Balaram, all the other expansions come. All the other avatars, the 10 avatars, the different personalities, they all come subsequently from there. So Krishna expands himself once into Lord Balaram. And from there Lord Balaram expands. And this same Lord Balaram, who appears with Krishna, appears in many of Krishna's appearances. When Lord Ramchandra appears, Balaramji appears as well, as Lakshman. So similarly, when Krishna appears as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, which we'll be discussing the purpose of that in a few weeks' time, but we'll summarize briefly here, that when Krishna performed his pastimes on this planet, he left us with these 700 most potent instructions in the Bhagavad Gita. He spoke on the battlefield of Kurukshetra to Arjuna, but in fact he was speaking to all of us about how to find perfection in life. Who wants perfection in life? Just a few of us? Most of us? The rest of us just want prasadam? You want prasadam? To you, prasadam is perfection of life? To me too. I am eager for prasadam. So we'll cut this short. But Krishna gave the perfection of life in this Bhagavad Gita. How to do everything. How to maintain your family, how to maintain your job, how to maintain your position in society, how to maintain all these things, but to ultimately come to the real goal in life. Actually, if we see, we are all bound by the same goal. What is the goal of life? What is your goal of life? Why do you want to go back to Godhead? Huh? Why do you want to go to moksha? So why do you want to live forever? Trees live for thousands of years. Huh? You want permanent peace. You want permanent peace. And the counter to peace, or what goes in parallel with peace, we want happiness. Happiness. Everybody is searching for the same thing. I ask this question a lot. Those of you who heard my classes are rolling your eyes now because you know what's coming. But I'll ask again. How many of you woke up this morning wanting to be unhappy? Anybody? No. We wake up every day with the same goal, trying to find happiness. And the spiritualists and the atheists and the confused in between, all searching for the same thing. How to find happiness. And so our Supreme Father Krishna tells us that I am the source of Ananda. How do we know that? Because He is Anadir Adir. He's the source of everything. So our relationship with Krishna is the only means by which we'll find this real happiness. There's no other means. And we've tried it. We've tried getting happiness from acquiring more wealth, from acquiring more fame, more beauty, more intelligence, more strength. All these happiness, we've tried. But in fact, we find that the more I seemingly get of these things, the more it comes with baggage. The baggage of stress and anxiety and fear. And this happiness I'm searching for seems elusive. So Krishna tells us, it happens when you become my devotee. So Krishna gives all the instructions in Bhagavad Gita. But when he goes back home, back to Godhead, he is lamenting that I have told everything, but I have not shown how to do it. I have not actually walked the walk. I talked the talk. I told everything, but I have not shown. So he decides to come back himself again. And he comes back as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is situated on his left-hand altar, right side. Who is on their left side? And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to show us the path of perfect living. And he is called Mahabhadanaya. When we offer obeisances to him, we say, Namo Mahabhadanaya Krishna Prema Pradayate. Mahabhadanaya means he is the most merciful. Why? Because he is giving Krishna Prema. But that's not what makes him most merciful. What makes him most merciful is that Krishna, in this mood, is so compassionate that he is giving this highest gift of perfection of life with the easiest and simplest of process. No more intense austerity required. No more renouncing all your material things and going to the forest. No more growing a long beard and sitting in an emaciated position or in a fixed position and eating roots and berries. Anybody ready to do that? No, just prasadam. Right? If we serve roots and berries in prasadam in the Sunday feast, we'd get a full list of complaints to our temple president. What kind of ramshackle operation you're running here? We don't want that austerity. So Chaitanya Krishna said, okay, no problem. Just come and chant. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. In this simplest of process, one achieves that which is achieved through performing all of the Vedic sacrifices in the Vedas. Not one or two of them. All of them. All of the austerities that are prescribed in our scriptures are accomplished by this chanting. All of the charity that we are required to perform is accomplished by this chanting. It is the true all-in-one process. But it is also the process, the only process, that can eternally connect us back with the Supreme. And so Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to give us this most glorious gift. And so the first aspect of this magnanimity is he's giving us the greatest thing with the simplest of process. What could be more merciful? But even more merciful than that, he gave out this Krishna Prema. And who was first in line? Those who were the least qualified. The most undeserving. The most unknowing. The most sinful. They were actually the first recipients of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy. And so not only was he giving this great gift of eternal peace and happiness with the easiest of process, but he was giving it irregardless of one's qualification. And in fact, the more unqualified we are, the further in line. Now, that's not a license to become unqualified. Let us not twist the philosophy. But let us understand, whatever we have done in the past, it is what it is. Krishna says, I'm willing to forgive and forget. But from this point forward, you take sincerely to the chanting of the holy names. So this was Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission. And so when Krishna came as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, of course we know that he comes with his entourage. And the chief amongst his entourage is Lord Balaram. And so Lord Balaram appeared as Lord Nityananda to facilitate the mission of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Lord Nityananda takes this position of Param Guru. What is the goal of Guru? What is the role of Guru? To deliver the message of Shastra, coming from disciplic succession to all of us. That is the role of Guru. To deliver the message of the Lord that is coming in disciplic succession. And the origin of Guru Tattva is Lord Balaramji or Lord Nityananda. Because their whole mission, their whole life and soul is to surrender and sacrifice their own needs for the benefit of humanity by distributing this message of the Lord. And so Lord Nityananda is our Adi Guru, the source of all spiritual preceptors, instructors, teachers, who can bring us to this path of perfection. Nothing we learn in this world without a teacher. Whether it's biology, driving a car, or playing the piano, we need a teacher. And so for spiritual life, we need a teacher who can show us this process. And so Lord Nityananda is the source, the origin of all teachers. And by his unlimited mercy, he brought to us Srila Prabhupada, who by his deep compassion, seeing the pain of suffering society, brought us this Chaitanya Charitamrita, brought us Srimad Bhagavatam, and all of this knowledge. And most importantly, brought us to understand who is Lord Nityananda. Even his name, Lord Nityananda, is indicative. Nitya means eternal. Ananda means? How many of us want eternal happiness again? So who's going to give it to us? Lord Nityananda. This is his whole mission, to distribute the happiness of spiritual life to everyone, following the instructions of his beloved Lord. So Lord Nityananda is the source of our spiritual strength. As he is none other than Balaram. Bala means strength. And one of the meanings of Lord Balaram is the giver of strength. But not our physical strength. He is the giver of our spiritual strength. When we find it difficult to chant the holy names of the Lord, whose shelter should we take? Lord Nityananda. When we find it difficult to follow the regular principles, whose shelter we should take? When we find it difficult to rise early in the morning and come for Mangal Arati, whose shelter we should take? When we find it difficult to read the scriptures and pastimes of the Lord. Whose shelter we should take? We don't need to ask whose shelter we have to take when it comes to taking prasadam, right? We don't have difficulty taking prasadam, right? So we don't need Lord Nityananda for that. Yes, we do. Who is going to give us prasadam? Lord Nityananda is the source of our spiritual strength. So if we are lacking the emotional, the intelligence to commit to a path of spiritual life, we should seek out and beg the mercy of Lord Nityananda. Because this is his prime gift. I already talked about that one. And Lord Nityananda is full of unlimited mercy and compassion. And we have many evidences of this. So our scriptures explain, our acharyas explain, that if you want the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is Krishna himself giving us this full path of love and perfection, we have to first approach Lord Nityananda. Lord Nityananda has the key to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's heart. He has the key to his heart. So if we want to access Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we must go through Lord Nityananda. And we see this in Chaitanya Charitamrita repeatedly. When Raghunath Das Goswami wanted to have associate Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, until he served Lord Nityananda in Panahati, he did not get darshan of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, did not get his association. When Rupa and Sanatana Goswami went to meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at Ramkeli, they first went and offered their obeisances and sought out the blessings of Lord Nityananda. When Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami was instructed to write the pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, as was Vrindavan Das Thakur, they first took the blessings of Lord Nityananda. So when we come to the temple, whose blessings first we have to take? If we want to take blessings of Radha Kunj Bihari, we first have to take the blessings of Lord Nityananda. Again, as Narottam Das Thakur says, right? Eno Nitai Bine Bai, Radha Krishna, without the mercy of Nitai, no way to access Radha Krishna. So by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, he established these Gaudiya deities for us. He personally came and installed these Gaudiya deities. These are the last deities in the world he personally installed. How many of you knew that? These are the last deities that Srila Prabhupada personally installed in the world. And so if we worship this Gaudiya, our life is guaranteed perfection. This is the great gift that Srila Prabhupada gave to us. And so, now how do we prove that Lord Nityananda is so compassionate, so merciful? Right? Let us take to the story of Jagai Madai. How many of you know the story of Jagai Madai? Few of you, and if you see some head shaking, no? So good. Because if you've heard it before, the more we hear it, the more sweeter it is. Just like if you eat a gulab jamun today, tomorrow will the gulab jamun not taste sweet? No, but unlike a gulab jamun, if we eat every day gulab jamun, we might get sick of it. These pastimes of the Lord are so sweet, the more we hear, the more enthused we can. So there were two very famous personalities living in the town of Navadvip, where Lord Nityananda had come to after his appearance in Ekachakra, spending time traveling the holy sites, ending up in Vrindavan. I'll talk about that maybe a little bit. But he came to Navadvip, and there Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was performing his pastimes. And Lord Nityananda wanted to prove how great Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was. And so he took on a big task. Because in the town of Navadvip, there were two persons by the name of Jagai and Madai. And they were the most scariest of people. They were like modern day terrorists. If they were walking down the street, everybody would run away. Shopkeepers would close up their shops, put the shutters down. If people had nowhere to hide, they would jump into the bushes, even into the ditch. Anything to get away from these two people. Because all they did their whole life, I shouldn't say their whole life, but for a big part of their life, is create havoc. They would beat people in the street. They would steal their belongings. They would kill. They would break people's stores. Anything and everything. And they were always intoxicated, fully drunk. They were the most fallen. Chitragupta, who has the responsibility to write all of our sinful activities down, so that Yamaraj can see what is our list. Yes, every sinful act we do is noted down. He engaged a whole army of scribes just to keep up with documenting the sins of Jagai and Madai. And still they were falling short. So this is how sinful they were. So Lord Nityananda had the brilliant idea. He said, hey, if I can get them to chant and surrender to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then everyone will come to know the power of my Lord. That if these two most fallen, unqualified persons can chant the holy names of the Lord in ecstasy, then people will come to understand the glories of Gauranga. So he set out on a mission to preach to Jagai and Madai. And he went with another great member of the Sankirtan army, the great general Haridas Thakur. He was more than a 5-star general. He was the Nam Acharya, the Acharya of the holy names. But he was elderly and he was not so brave. And Lord Nityananda was known for his mischief. When they would go out on preaching missions, Lord Nityananda would play games with the loving games with the residents of Navadvip. He would go and steal butter like Krishna used to steal. The problem was when Lord Nityananda would steal and eat the butter, when the elderly gopi came, or the gopa came, he would run away. But Haridas Thakur was old. And so he would run back, but he'd be slow, and he would always get caught. When Lord Nityananda would steal the milk, or when he would let the calves out and they would go and drink all the milk from the cows before they had been milked, all these games he'd play, it was always Haridas Thakur getting caught. So, one day, Lord Nityananda pushed it a little bit too far. And Jagai and Madai are walking down the street, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Haridas Thakur and Lord Nityananda are walking this way, and all of a sudden everybody is running, shutting their doors, locking up everything, and they become town had become deserted. And Haridas Thakur said, "We better go." And Lord Nityananda said, "No, these are two people we can preach to. Spread the glories of Gauranga Mahaprabhu." He said, "They'll not hear, they're drunk." They were like wobbling and stumbling and falling, walking towards them, fully intoxicated. And Haridas Thakur is like, how can you expect them to take to this message? He says, this is the glories of Gauranga Mahaprabhu. So they went forward. And Lord Nityananda, as they got within like safe distance, but voice distance, said, please chant. Well, these two drunkards, Jagai and Madai, did not take too lightly to this instruction. They became enraged and they raised their fist and started running at Lord Nityananda and Haridas Thakur. And they became scared and they started to run. Thankfully, these two men were a little bit heavy set. They were drunk. They were stumbling. They couldn't make much progress. So Haridas Thakur and Lord Nityananda were laughing along the way. But they came back home that night and to Advaita Acharya's home. And Haridas Thakur submitted his resignation slip. He said, I'm not going on with this crazy man, Lord Nityananda. Today, he went over the top. Always he's getting me in trouble, playing all his mischief, but today he went too far. He tried to preach to Jagai and Madai, and we just escaped by the last inch, or we were also dead. I am not risking my life with him anymore. So Advaita Acharya is hearing this. He's the elderly statesman, and he's just laughing. And here, he makes a very bold proclamation. Now this, you should hear very carefully. Advaita Acharya says, these two, Jagai and Madai, will very soon become pure devotees of the Lord. And they will be singing and dancing in the intimate circle of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, where nobody else is allowed. In the town of Navadvip, only a handful of special devotees were allowed to enter into the inner sanctum of this Sankirtan. Only a handful. And Advaita Acharya said, these two will now be part of that group. And Haridas Thakur is saying, that's impossible. Lord Nityananda said, it is not impossible. That is the mercy of Gauranga Mahaprabhu. And Advaita Acharya then makes this statement. He tells that actually it is by the mercy of Lord Nityananda that they have already been delivered. How they were delivered? They tried to beat them. It was not because of their service to Lord Nityananda. It was because Lord Nityananda cast his glance upon them. Just by coming under the sight of Lord Nityananda, one is delivered. Shall we all come under the sight of Lord Nityananda? Just see. Just by coming under the glance, Jagai and Madai were saved. What to speak if we come, we offer our obeisances. But our obeisances are not in body. They are in body, mind, and word. In our consciousness, we are offering our obeisances to Lord Nityananda, expressing our gratitude for the gift He is giving to us of devotional service, and begging for His blessings. If Jagai and Madai were elevated to that position just by the glance, imagine what fortune we will obtain when we approach Lord Nityananda with even the slightest mood of service. And imagine what fortune one will attain if you offer your obeisances, your gratitude, even some service on His appearance day, which is tomorrow. Some of you may be thinking, oh, I came to the temple today. What difficulty is it to come again? To come and take the blessings of Lord Nityananda. It's any difficulty? A little bit of austerity, a little bit of sacrifice. Sure, we may have many things to do, but if we take that sacrifice and offer our obeisances to Lord Nityananda on His appearance day, certainly our life is guaranteed success. So Jagai and Madai were purified just by the glance, but it took some time. Actually, a few days later, Lord Nityananda saw these two again on the street. And Lord Nityananda went to preach to them. Hey, chant! This time he was alone. Advaitacharya had resigned. He said, he called in sick that day. I'm not going with him. And so Lord Nityananda was alone. And Jagai and Madai were drunk as usual. But this time Madai, he took his wine pot and beat on the head of Lord Nityananda. Lord Nityananda began to bleed profusely. And hearing that this happened, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu lost all control. He became enraged. See, the Lord is tolerant of any offenses we make to Him. But if you offend His devotee, His beloved, that He cannot tolerate. He'll tolerate endless to Him, but He cannot tolerate a offense to His loving devotee. So when he heard Lord Nityananda was attacked, he immediately descended upon this spot and summoned Sudarshan Chakra and was ready to kill Jagai Madai. No questions asked, seeing that Lord Nityananda had been abused in this way. But who stopped him? You can see in this picture, Lord Nityananda is on the left in the blue. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is called the Chakra. And he is ready. And Lord Nityananda is stopping. He said to that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Jagai, stop Madai from hitting me a second time. Chaitanya, really? He took that as the greatest service to Lord Nityananda. He didn't stop him the first time, but stopping him the second time, even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took that as great seva. And he delivered Jagai. Jagai became pure devotee of the Lord by that service. Now Madai was left. What to do? So he begged Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, seeing the seriousness of the situation, please forgive me. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, I cannot forgive you. Only Lord Nityananda can forgive you. But Krishna is always compassionate. He did not sit idle and wait for Lord Nityananda. He asked Lord Nityananda, please forgive Madai. This is how loving the Lord is also. Of course, Lord Nityananda was the least bit disturbed. And he forgave Madai. But not only did he forgive Madai, he embraced Madai. And in that embrace, all the purity of Lord Nityananda entered into the heart of Madai. And all of his sinful nature accumulated so vast that even Chitragupta's hand was hurting, not able to write. His whole army of writers was not able to keep up. All of that vanquished in an instant by the embrace of Lord Nityananda. He could have just forgiven. He could have just given some blessing. But he gave the ultimate through that embrace. This is how merciful Lord Nityananda is. So if we want to develop purity of heart to be able to serve the Supreme Lord, Shri Shri Radha Kunj Vihara, it will not happen until we obtain the mercy of Lord Nityananda. And to think it can happen without the mercy of Lord Nityananda is to be lost in illusion. Narottam Das Thakur says, Ahankara manta hoya, nitai para asha. That fooled by illusion. What kind of illusion? Illusion like a matted elephant. Intense illusion. We forget the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda. How many of us have been meditating on the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda? Even coming in devotional service, how often we are meditating on His lotus feet? It comes to Kunj Vihara's feet, yes, the blessings of the Lord. But Lord Nityananda, we're not understanding. Why? Because we are in illusion. What are we in illusion of? Who am I? Stuck in this bodily consciousness. I'm simply living my life trying to eat nicely, sleep nicely, mate nicely, defend nicely. That's it. Eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. My whole goal of life has become how to do this successfully. And this is nothing but animal life. Narottam Das Thakur says, Say sambandha nahi jaan. If I don't have a sambandha, a relationship with Lord Nityananda, he says, Vritta janma kelo. Your whole janma is wasted in eating, sleeping, mating, defending. It is not human life, it is animal life. But it is actually, he says, say Pashu Polo Durachar. It's even worse than an animal life. Why? Srila Prabhupada explains that even the wildness of animals can be controlled and tamed. But in the human form of life, when the senses are not engaged in spiritual life, they are impossible to control. Impossible. We may try with artificial means of suppression and of this type of meditation and that type. Nonsense. None of it will work. Say sambandha nahi. Without the mercy of Lord Nityananda, it won't happen. So if we want to make value in this human form of life, this human form of life is the rarest of all gifts. We don't appreciate it, but actually we have worked very, very hard to come to this human form of life. After millions of births, millions of deaths, we have finally come to this human form of life. Billions of years we have traversed. And now we have a decision to make. Am I going to continue living this life of eating, sleeping, mating, and defending? Or am I going to come to this beautiful life of spiritual success? Taking the shelter of Nitai Pada Kamala, Koti Chandra Sushi. The feet of Lord Nityananda are cooling like millions of moons. This material world is just giving us pain. And how to find relief from this pain? In the lotus feet of our beloved Nityananda. And if we do, then we'll find real success in life. end this cycle of birth and death, old age and disease, and come to our original position where we'll find eternal bliss and happiness. And it all starts where? The mercy of Lord Nityananda. So now we have some faith that Nityananda Trayodasi is the most important festival in our Vedic calendar. Because how we are going to access the mercy of Radha Kunj Bihari, the mercy of Lord Jagannath, the mercy of Lord Nrsimhadev, of Lord Ramchandra, without first taking the blessings and mercy of Lord Nityananda. So we pray to Lord Nityananda that we may have faith and that we may never forget His Nitai Pada, the lotus feet, and that we may hold on with great intensity to His feet. And by doing so, we'll achieve perfection of life. And this is just, I don't know, I lost myself in all of this. But this short discussion on the glories of Lord Nityananda. Lord Nityananda Rama ki Jai. Nityananda Trayodasi Mahotsav ki Jai. Most merciful Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Any questions, comments, realizations? Maybe we can have some. Yes, Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna. Where Lord Nityananda born? I think we born in Bangladesh, so we have temple over there.
So Lord Nityananda appeared. So just the technical term. The Lord is not born. We say that conventionally, it's okay, but to be a little bit more precise, He appears. Because He is not born like us. We are born due to the forces of material nature. We don't pick our birthday. We don't get to pick our parents. Or we don't get to pick where we are born. That is forced upon us. But the Lord, when He appears where He wants, to whom He wants, and when He wants. So we say He appears. Okay. So He appeared in Sri Ekachakradam. Beautiful place. How many of you have been to Ekachakradam? You have not been? Babaji, you have to take your dear friend to Ekachakradam. Oh, such a beautiful, majestic place. So peaceful. Still feels holy Dham. So this is just 4 hours from Shridham Mayapur in Bengal. It's not in Bangladesh, but it's towards Bangladesh. And that is where Lord Nityananda appeared in the home of Hadai Pandit and Padmavati. That was his mother and father. And there he performed very beautiful pastimes until the age of 12. And then, by the divine arrangement, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared in Navadvip and roaring like a lion. Lord Nityananda began a ploy to leave home. And so a sannyasi had come to their home. And he accompanied the sannyasi in travels all over India and then taking shelter in Vrindavan for the next 20 years, just waiting for Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to call, to summon his beloved Lord Nityananda to Navadvip. And that became the place of his meeting Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the inauguration of this Sankirtana movement. So that is the brief story of Lord Nityananda. But he appeared in Sri Ekachakradam. He also left in Ekachakradam. So you can go and take darshan there. There's a beautiful ISKCON temple, guest house, everything. And then beautiful deities are there in many places. Also where the house of lacquer where the Pandavas they attempted to burn, this takes place in Ekachakra. That place is also there. So you can go to Mayapur and they'll arrange a trip for you. Very beautiful place. I had the great fortune many years ago of being at Nityananda Trayodasi. We had no plan to go, and somehow by Vaishnava Maharaj's great compassion upon me, recognizing I had no attachment to Lord Nityananda, he said, "Come on!" And we went to ISKCON and Nityananda Trayodasi. Beautiful festival, such a exquisite experience, so sweet. So we can all pray to Lord Nityananda that He'll bring us to ISKCON. But if we come here tomorrow, Lord Nityananda will manifest ISKCON here because He is personally present, empowered by the hands of Srila Prabhupada, who personally brought this deity forms to all of us. And so, if we cannot go to India tomorrow, you can come here and be in ISKCON. Any other questions? Yes? Oh, Mata, okay. One here, then yes. Yes?
I'm very grateful to be here today. I remind myself, Krishna to everyone. I find myself in a great deal of spiritual strength. So upon walking in here today and hearing about Nityananda and his personality, I find that very, inspiring and appreciative. And I am just open to learning more and understanding more about Lord and how I can know more.
Very nice. Lord Nityananda is hearing your prayers. By that expression, as Adi Guru, He knows what we are in need of and brings us in that arrangement. We are very blessed to take shelter over Nityananda. And yes, you will find spiritual strength through him. Yes, Martha, do you have a question?
Hare Krishna. So, when I was reading, I stumbled across the pastime that was done in Congo, and I don't think that I really understood. Can you please explain it to me since we're talking about women?
I have a very short question.
Yes.
Very short question related to this question. What year was Lord Nityananda born? Like BC.
1474.
BCE.
BC.
BC. Like the before Christ era.
80. Just 500, a little over 500 years.
Oh, okay, my bad. Okay.
1474.
Okay.
He appeared 12 years before.
1474.
He appeared 12 years before Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who appeared in 1486, according to our Western calendar.
Okay.
Yes. On the Trayodasi day, the 13th day, in this month.
Is there a copy of the Western calendar, like somewhere? I mean, not the Western, the calendar that is in the Bhagavad Gita. Like, is there a copy of that somewhere?
All these dates are given in our Shastra. Well, all the appearance days of every personality is given.
Okay.
You can find in our different Shastras.
Okay, it's like an image of it or something.
You can find it online.
Yeah. Okay.
But Mataji's question, very beautiful question. So there's this pastime described of Lord Nityananda breaking the danda staff of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And it's a very elaborate pastime. So we could give a whole class just on this pastime actually. It's very deep in meaning. So, because I know I sit between you and Prashadam, so be very brief, trying to be merciful. But I'm greedy also, because I very much enjoy this pastime. It's a very sweet pastime. We went to the spot and took bath in the river where Lord Nityananda deposited this, not quite a river now, but he stole some water. So, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu performed his pastimes 24 years in Navadvip. And there he was engaged in his early youth of, kind of scholarly pastimes, teaching Sanskrit and teaching, deeper meanings of our technical knowledge, and so more in his scholarly pastimes. And then, once Lord Nityananda came to Navadvip, again, once Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had passed 20 years on this planet, they began the Sankirtan movement and going, and first, more intimately. And then, after 4 more years elapsed, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu realized that actually, in order for the world to take to this message, I must enter into sannyas ashram. And this was a very painful experience for the devotees to see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu take on a life of austerity. He was their beloved Lord. But in order to deliver the foolish persons like myself and those that were existing then, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu decided to take sannyas. So he took sannyas from Keshav Bharati and in Katwa, which is also a place you can go. And after taking sannyas, some pastimes, he was on his way to Vrindavan, but Lord Nityananda tricked him, took him to Shantipur, where he meets Mother Sachi and Advaitacharya and all the devotees one last time, and there she pleads that don't go to Vrindavan, it's too far, go to Jagannath Puri, it's nearby, and I'll get news of your happenings as people are coming, going from Puri. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu agreed, and so he is going to Jagannath Puri. And he's with just a handful of devotees, and they had come to this part, this place. It's an 8-section bridge. Alarna. I'm forgetting the exact name of this one, but it's just escaping me. And it's at this specific place, and there they were doing kirtan, and Lord Nityananda performed his transcendental pastimes, and he breaks Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's danda into 3 pieces, and he throws it into the river. So our acharyas give us several reasons why he did this. One reason, kind of superficially or on the initial level, was that Lord Nityananda could not tolerate seeing his Lord, his King, his Master, taking on this life of austerity and carrying a danda. He says, because there are different stages of sannyasis, and I won't get into all the details, but in the Paramahamsa stage of sannyasi, a sannyasi also doesn't carry a danda because they have progressed, fully beyond that state. So, for this purpose of saying that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, you should not be carrying a danda, he broke it. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu awoke from his transcendental, ecstatic fainting, he said, "Where's my danda?" And Lord Nityananda said, "I don't know." And then the devotees told, "He broke it." And I didn't break it. When you were dancing up and down and jumping, you fell on your danda and it broke. This is Lord Nityananda's pastimes. He's very funny. So, but because of this inability to tolerate this, he did it. So, but also a second reason that's explained is that the Gaudiya Vaishnavas, we are 3-dandi sannyasis, not ekadandi. And this 3-danda sannyas means that the devotee is engaged in serving the Lord with his body, mind, and words. So that the full activity of the sannyasi is engaged in service of the Lord. Not just to sit in meditation or to sit in idle thought or even talk, but to use one's whole existence in the service of the Lord. So to establish that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is not an Ekadati sannyas, though he took sannyas in this line for other reasons, which get manifested later. No, he is a Tridandi sannyas. And our Gaudiya Vaishnava tradition has carried forward since then with this. Now when Lord Nityananda breaks this danda, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu becomes very upset. And he didn't buy the story that he broke the danda. He knew his mischievous Lord Nityananda. He's also all-knowing, omniscient. He's Paramatma, he knows everything. So then he became very upset. And he left all of them. And he ran to Jagannath Puri. But actually this was Lord Nityananda's purpose. He wanted Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to have Darshana Lord Jagannath alone. Because see, this darshan is very, very unique. I'm sorry, I'm running out of time. He'll hit me with his danda, our temple president. I have to follow his instructions. 2 more minutes?
It's only 5:30 o'clock, so
So, see, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is coming in the mood. He's Krishna, right? Panchatat Bhakmakam Krishnam, Bhakta Rupa Sarupakam. This Bhakta Rupa. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is not avatar of Krishna. He is avatari. He is Krishna. So Krishna himself has come. But he has come as Gaura Chandra, in this golden complexion. Why? We'll see in Adi Leela, 4th chapter, that there are some very confidential reasons why Krishna came. Externally, I said, because he wanted to walk the walk, show how to practice the Bhagavad Gita. So he comes in the mood of a devotee. But the internal, he had a strong longing that he could not understand in the spiritual world the depth of Srimati Radharani's love for him. He could not comprehend how she could be so surrendered to him. That happiness which she was getting in service, he could not experience. Now this is not understandable by our logic, right? Because I said, Sarva Karana Karanam. I said he's the source of everything. So how his devotee could have something he doesn't have? But it actually exists. Because the devotee experiences a happiness in service more than even Krishna himself. So Krishna could not understand that extent of her happiness. And he could not understand their mood of how one could be so devoted and surrendered. And he could not understand the taste. What is that taste that one gets in serving him? The all-knowing Lord could not understand this. So he comes as Krishna, but in the mood of Srimati Radharani. So, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is going to Jagannath Puri, now let us understand who is Lord Jagannath. Lord Jagannath is Krishna, but it is Lord Krishna at a time in which he was extremely separated from Srimati Radharani and all the residents of Vrindavan. Because this mood was manifested in Kurukshetra. After the Dwarka Lila had started, many years had elapsed, and they had come to Kurukshetra to observe the eclipse. So actually Lord Jagannath This mood is in a mood of great ecstasy and separation. So Lord Nityananda, and I apologize, I know some of you are new here, may not follow all this, please just hear. But Lord Nityananda, understanding, he wanted to bring this union back of this mood of Srimati Radharani with Krishna and this mood of Lord Jagannath in a very intimate setting. And not in the association of all the other devotees. Because there, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would hold back his sentiment. His emotions would be checked. And so to give Chaitanya Mahaprabhu this most unencumbered first darshan of Lord Jagannath, he breaks his danda, knowing that he will become so-called upset. And so Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ran at blazing speed to Jagannath temple, feigning disappointment. I'm leaving you all, but by that transcendental arrangement. And this is Lord Nityananda. Everything he does, we may not understand. It may seem opposite, but actually his mood is simply to serve his beloved. So that is a short exposition on this. But we can discuss actually each part has a little bit more meaning to it in a future session. I think we are ready. Ready? Okay. Thank you very much. Lord Nityananda Rama ki Nityananda Trayodasi Mahotsav ki Everybody coming for Nityananda Trayodasi Mahotsav ki tomorrow, right? Ready? Go. And come and see Lord Nityananda in Ekam Chakana. Hare Krishna Prabhupada ki. And just so you know, I only got to my first flight of my deck.
Hare Krishna, if we can actually have everyone stay seated. We're going to set up for the Abhishek. In the meantime, we also have a budget for everyone to enjoy. So if everyone can please stay seated. I know it's been a little bit, but if all the Matajis who are singing the budget can please come and stand.
What? I have to put this over.
Matajis. Come in front.
शिष्य जाति दान विद्यावान ना करे अपेक्षा जाति दान विद्यावान ना करे अपेक्षा आम्ही चारे माया जाल आम्ही चारे माया जाल आम्ही चारे माया जाल आम्ही चारे माया जाल ग्रहे ताको बने ताको नदाके जंजाल ग्रहे ताको बने ताको नदाके जंजाल आनाई को काली बोय आनाई को काली बोय आनाई को काली बोय आनाई को काली बोय आचंडले देखना निताय गोयमोय आचंडले देखना निताय गोयमोय भक्ति विनोदा की कोय भक्ति विनोदा की कोय भक्ति विनोदा की कोय भक्ति विनोदा की कोय निताय चरण बिना हार नहीं आश्रय निताय चरण बिना हार नहीं आश्रय बोलो सुखे का बोलाय बोलो सुखे का बोलाय बोलो सुखे का बोलाय बोलो सुखे का बोलाय सुरभि कुंजे ते नामे रातले छे सुरभि कुंजे ते नामे रातले छे कोरोनिताय 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 हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
Hare Krishna, thank you. So we're preparing for the Abhishek, so everyone will have an opportunity